Darling, we've had one hell of a time, but the question on everybody's mind, where is the
Welcome back to Ideas Don't Bleed, a comics podcast presented by Ashcan Press and featuring Matthew Rosenberg and the Supple Boiz, Ethan S. Parker, and Griffin Sheridan. This is part 2 of our discussion with RYAN STEGMAN. We hope you enjoy.
But yeah, we should take some questions. I should say that our little podcast, is this a podcast? Like, I don't know.
This is the live stream edition of the podcast.
It will eventually turn into an episode of the podcast.
It'll be an audio podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's sponsored by our good friends at Third Eye Comics.
Ooh.
That we love very much. Third Eye
Thank you, Third Eye.
And because in their sponsorship, we're going to pick some audience questions. And if we pick your question at random as the question of the week, Third Eye's going to send you a little present.
That's super exciting.
Yeah. And if you're in the Maryland, Delaware, Virginia area, you should go to Third Eye Comics and buy some stuff. It's one of my favorite comic shops. But if you're not in the area, you can go to their website and buy stuff. I think
Are we eligible?
If you have internet
prize?
access. Oh, for the prize. I thought you were asking if you were eligible to go to a website.
No, if we have like a really banger question for RYAN STEGMAN, can we get the prize?
Yeah.
I can tell you that Third Eye is fulfilling all of our Substack stuff too.
It's true.
Look at that. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful.
Wonderful folks.
And they're wonderful folks. And I believe they have an exclusive cover for Vanish. I think I saw that. Might be wrong. It feels like everyone has an exclusive cover for Vanish.
Everyone has an exclusive cover for Vanish.
I got one. It's 500 copies. Why not? They're just in my house. I was like, these look cool. I drew it.
You have to go to Matthew Rosenberg's house and ask him personally for his copy of Vanish.
Maybe some kids will get them on Halloween. I do give out all the comics I read on Halloween, so some kid is going to get this issue of Vanish for Halloween.
Do you really do that? I love that.
Yeah, I don't like having single issues anymore. I'm over it. I don't need them. I live in this, so I don't need. Yeah. This is the cleanest part of my house that I could show on a live stream. So that'll give you a sense. So yeah, I give out all the comics on Halloween. And last year I was giving out comics, and a guy dressed like Nova showed up and went through the box, and I had a bunch of variant covers that just I got. I don't buy them because of variants. I just had them. And he pulled out every variant cover and was putting them aside. And then he was like, oh, it's for my other kid. And then he kept adding kids that he had. And he was like, you'll see him later. He's dressed like Miles Morales or whatever. And he took he took a big stack. And I was like, that's cool, man. Good for you.
Wild.
It was great. I actually really loved it. He was just like Nova. I mean, that's the way.
Yeah, sure.
I love Nova so much. Ryan, you ever drawn Nova?
No.
Like the
Next
character?
question.
You know the character? You ever drawn the character Nova?
No.
None of them?
No, he's not into
Don't think so.
It's done quick and easy. All right, how about this for a question?
By the way, that was the question of the week. Ryan, have you ever drawn Nova?
How about a question from Matthew Amuso? Apologies if I mispronounce any of these names, of course. What is your favorite pizza topping or toppings, and how do you feel topping preferences relate to an artist's style and skills? Thank you for your time.
That's a great question.
It is a great question. Matthew used to work with me and Tyler at a comic shop, and me and Tyler worked at a comic shop together, and he was Tyler Boss's roommate. So thanks for sending in that question. What is my favorite pizza topping? I guess it's a question for Ryan, not for me, really. I'm going to answer it after Ryan.
I want you to answer first.
Fuck.
I think you drew this Nova, Ryan.
Holy shit.
Hot damn.
Holy shit.
Ideas Don't Bleed exclusive. Ryan did draw Nova.
We didn't say this before. This is a gotcha type interview.
It's got your signature on it, but it's also got another signature on it, so who knows?
Oh yeah, this is a 5-minute sketch that somebody got colored by Edgar Delgado.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So
not
got caught lying on stream.
All right, what's Matthew's question? What is my favorite pizza topping, and what is your favorite pizza topping?
What is your favorite pizza topping or toppings, and how do you feel topping preference relates to an artist's style and skills?
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna go first. My favorite pizza topping, like there are some unusual ones I like. There's a pizza place that I used to like in the Village in New York called West Village Pizza that had a Cajun chicken pizza. That was my favorite pizza in all of New York. They went out of business, and I've been obsessed with thinking that their guy who created that recipe is going to pop up at another pizza place and make that pizza again, and I'll find it somehow. That's not how the world works, but I think about it a lot. But in just like a slice of pizza you can get at most pizza places, I go with buffalo chicken. Buffalo chicken is like my go-to. And how do I think it relates to an artist's style? I don't think there's any relationship at all. I don't.
You don't think there are just like buffalo chicken people out there, and less about their skills. What kind of person does that make them, and then from there, what kind of artist does that make them?
Like, I'm a writer. That's a form of artist, if you're being technical.
Yes, yes.
Am I a buffalo chicken person?
Kind of.
So. Kind of. Maybe kind of.
Is it possible that any artists are fueled by particular ingredients like Popeye's spinach? Ryan, is there something that when you take it, you go like you eat it and then you go, I'm an artist and I feel like I'm about to.
Ryan is just full, just like creatine, like pre-workout. Like,
That's true.
He's sitting there
creatine,
like, just itching.
Protein powder. That's what I put on my pizza too.
Protein powder?
And creatine. No.
HGH.
Pizza.
My favorite, I eat pizza lately that is, I put green pepper, onion, yellow pepper, and sausage on it, and it's fucking ridiculous.
Are you making this pizza?
No, that's just what I get everywhere I go.
Everywhere you go?
Yeah, everywhere, even if they don't have pizza.
Fuck. I mean, like, I don't feel like you can walk in a New York pizza shop and just get that. I don't think that's.
Yeah, I don't live in New York, Matthew.
You've been there. You're gonna be here in a week.
Yeah, I'm not gonna eat pizza there.
That's true.
What are you gonna get? Yes, you are. It's gonna be two.
We're not gonna get pizza.
No,
we're getting pizza next week.
Fine, maybe. All right, fine. I'll take pepperoni.
Pepperoni, Jesus, this is terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible, guys. You guys have to answer too. I feel like that's only fair.
But make it quick.
That's fair.
Ham.
Okay. Ham
and green pepper, yeah, and with banana pepper.
That's you're disgusting.
Like Canadian.
Is it okay? Is it okay if I say mushroom? Is somebody gonna?
That's pretty gross.
That's not good.
Okay.
These are not good answers. I wish I hadn't asked.
Mushroom is gross.
Sorry,
I like mushrooms.
Sorry,
I like mushrooms.
What do you mean, Ryan? You just said like almost the exact same thing I said. I just chose a different form.
I know, but ham is gross.
I don't like the
Why?
atmosphere of this question. I feel like this question opened up some sort of nasty energy.
All right, move on.
I'll be honest. I was making pizza at my mom's house recently. Visited my mom. Thought let's make pizza together, Mom. And I made a white pie. You got some ricotta on there, and then I got some chorizo. It's really good. Really good combination that I don't think you can get in a pizza place, but it's really good. The spiciness with the ricotta, really good.
Listen.
All right.
Ryan Michael, good friend of ours from the KLC stream, says nothing can beat 2 slices and a Coke from Two Bros after a long day at New York City Comic Con. Two Bros Pizza.
Two Bros is good. Two Bros is good. I think if you're in the neighborhood of the Javits Center, my spot in that neighborhood is 40th and 8th, Kiss My Slice. That's the best spot. It's if you're going from the Javits Center to Midtown Comics, it's on the block of Midtown Comics. And their buffalo chicken, best in the city.
Okay, we're going.
Don't New York people say that about every place?
Yeah, people always ask for what's the best pizza, and I'm like, they're all kind of the same. Like, don't go to dollar slice places. That's not good.
Okay.
I'm gonna show up in New York City. I'm gonna ask you, what's the best pizza from here?
No, you're gonna show up and be like, where's Little Caesars?
I really like that.
What's the closest pizza to here? Is what I'm asking.
Yeah. I mean, you're gonna be at the Javits Center, so you're gonna be getting Javits Center pizza.
Matthew, you can fire that.
I think you should get a prize for the best joke on the stream.
Thanks, Ethan. You know what? This is why there's 2 of us. You gotta support each other.
You gotta hold each other up.
How many gummies deep is Ethan? That's what I didn't know.
Oh no!
New question of the week. That's the question of the week. How many gummies deep is Ethan?
It would be if Ryan wasn't always asking that on his own stream.
He wins the prize every week. Third Eye just sends him a little package every week for asking that.
That's right.
How's this for a question?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, from Dallas. Wasn't sure how to send in the Stegman question, so just putting it here. Ryan was a good artist before Venom, but he took things to the superstar level. What did he do to take his art to the next level? Ryan, what sort of performance-enhancing drugs have you taken to do Vanish?
So I do for Vanish or for
Venom. It was Venom.
Well, it was good before Venom, I guess, and then went to superstar level. I assume they're thinking yes with Venom.
I think that it was that I finally gave in to my destiny of working with an inker. Prior to that, I kept inking myself, and I would change my style every 5 minutes. There's something about it that I was just like finicky about it. And finally, when I committed to having an inker, I gave up that aspect of my work where I was doubting it constantly, and I just kind of knew what to do. And then also once I saw what JP was doing, and it was exactly what I wanted, because I mean I'd worked with inkers before, and there are plenty that did great jobs, but something about what JP did really like spoke to the way that I wanted my stuff to look. And so I never felt like since I started working with him, I've never felt like I need to ink myself anymore. I just know that he's going to do it, and I know how to draw well. And so I was able to just kind of like hone in on exactly what I do well and really, kill it.
Do you miss inking?
No, I mean, every once in a while I'll ink a cover or, whatever, but no, I don't. I still like it. It requires a patience that I don't have. And if I could do, if one day I became a guy that did like one cover a week, like I don't know how long an Arthur Adams cover takes him, but he seems to really enjoy doing all the knick-knacky stuff. But I feel like I want to get story pages out there, and I want to get comic books out there. So I feel very like boxed in when it's taking me forever to do something. So pretty much every time I do ink a cover, about halfway through, I'm like, why did I do this? JP would do this better than I'm doing it.
Does it feel weird though to like sort of lose that, like you were finishing things and now you're a step in a process? Does that feel weird?
No, I think that if you see my pencils are very tight. Yeah. So I just don't know how to translate that into ink without doing the tight pencils, then inking on top of that, and that just seems like a slog. So I enjoy inking. Like I do these sketches live on our YouTube, and that I enjoy because I feel like I'm drawing with ink. But when I'm inking on pages, I definitely feel like I'm tracing myself, and I don't enjoy that at all.
That's interesting. It's interesting. I've never sort of thought about the idea of going from inking yourself to like not, and what that means for a person. And it's sort of fascinating because there isn't really a writing equivalent, I guess.
Yeah. It is a weird thing, but it definitely, there's no question that I feel like my work got better because of it. And so,
when you go back and look at your older stuff, do you feel like weird about it? Do you not like it?
I think some of it's interesting, like especially when I would really try something fun and weird. But some of it I look back at and I'm like what was I thinking there? I mean, before I did Venom, I've talked about this before, but CB, I was like, no, I'm going to ink it myself. And CB flat out, he called me and he's like, listen, we want you to have an inker. And he was just, very straightforward with me. He's like, the editors don't know which version of you they're going to get.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
If you're inking yourself, because you will change your style in the middle of an issue, which is so true. It's crazy. It like on Uncanny Avengers, I think I had like 6 different styles. It was nuts. And like one issue, I started doing washes in the middle of the issue. Like it doesn't make any sense. So
are you saying that you weren't really aware that you were doing that?
No, I was. I just thought nobody noticed. And then, so when he started saying that, I was like, he's right.
Yeah.
I do that, and I don't know why I can't help myself, but so there's just something that maybe it's like a lack of confidence in my inking. I'm not quite sure what it is, but there's something there that seems to turn me into a lunatic, and I might as well just do away with it.
That's a good answer. That was like the good answer of this show. I feel like I don't think we're gonna get another answer.
Are we giving? I think that this guy just won.
I think it's got to be random.
Oh
yeah, yeah.
Or maybe you could.
That's the thing. If it's question of the week, is it random or is it the best question?
I feel like it's gotta be random. It's pretty subjective if it's the best.
I think we all have to unanimously agree it's the best question of.
Well, Ryan just picked, but also he only picked on the second question, and we still have a couple more. Right?
Let's all agree to have some patience.
Yeah,
and we'll work out the answer by the end.
Hit up Griffin and Ethan. They're gonna send you something nice.
Well.
Maybe
do you guys have anything nice?
Some gummies.
No, we don't have anything nice.
I don't feel comfortable sending substances through the mail.
Some White Claw Magnums.
I don't have any of those currently, but I could
because you drank them all before the show.
Oh my god!
This is the stream I got fucked up on. Oh no! It's my first one we did.
It's my first one. Come on,
our next question is from Johnny Perry. I think this is a great question since we have the both of you on here.
Question of the week.
Hate this.
Question of the week, maybe.
Potentially.
Is this the pineapple question?
No, it's not the
no, but
question.
we could ask why did nobody pick pineapple pizza, because he did ask that in the YouTube chat.
Oh, because it's fucking gross.
Yeah,
that's why. Yeah,
because it's fruit.
Yeah.
I'm not against it.
All over the cheese, and it's disgusting.
I'm not against
it.
I was against it, and then I worked at Papa John's for multiple years, and sometimes there's a pineapple pizza lying around, and there's nothing else to eat, and you eat
just
a
on the
piece and you
floor
go,
because
"It's okay."
nobody wanted it.
Are you still friends with him?
With Papa John?
With Papa John?
With Papa John? I was never friends with Papa John, nor do I condone Papa John.
Here's a question.
He seems like he's not doing great.
When you ate Papa John's, what was the fastest transition from eating to diarrhea-ing that you had?
Papa John's, by the way, sponsor of the show.
Yeah. Thank you, Papa John Schnatter.
I mean, listen, there
like
are
the guy
emergencies
himself,
on the job.
not even the.
There's a certain hazard that comes with working there.
He's showing up delivering pizzas to people places, and he's like, "Hey, listen, you get it. You're ordering Papa John's. Can I use your Papa John's, by the way?"
And they're like, "Oh, of course. Yeah, no, I get it."
Yeah,
they hug you when you come out.
you brave soul.
Do you think that would be a good slogan for them? Is Papa John's delivering diarrhea?
No,
diarrhea delivered.
What is the
better.
Papa John's slogan?
I think that's it.
It's better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
It's not.
That's not true. None of that is true.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be true. It has to be a slogan.
That's fair.
Listen, what's Johnny's other question?
Kids don't actually love chains.
See, you can say anything. You can just say anything.
You just say
things. That's an insane thing to say, though.
Johnny Perry says, in the event that I can't make it to the stream, though I'm certainly hoping to. You made it, Johnny. You're here, or at least you were here.
Good job.
To make the pineapple question take over the stream for like 10 minutes. I was wondering if Matthew and Ryan could each speak about what they find to be the most challenging aspects of the collaborative process between artist and writer. How do you go about surmounting the inevitable divides between each creator's vision for what the work will ultimately look like? And I would add to that, how do you find a middle ground between such massive egos that you can create something worthwhile?
I liked your addendum to that. The Ryan, you should go first.
I don't know. Donnie and I just have like a meld. Yeah, it just works.
That's fine.
I've never really had I think that I've said this also. I feel like I'm repeating myself sometimes, but I feel like most of the successful writers are successful because they're good dudes or good women that vibe with other creators. I feel like that's a part of the job. Because we're working at such a speed and in such a medium where if you're not gelling with the other person, it's going to fall apart. Now the artists, as we've said, a lot of them don't like to talk. So if the artist and the writer both don't like to talk, then it's going to be a problem. I've worked on a project. I'll say this. I worked on a project where I did all the pages, turned in all the pages as I went, never got an email back from the writer, and that killed the vibe. And I was like, well, I'm done with that writer forever.
Wow.
That's never happening again. But I mean, almost every experience that I've had has been fantastic. So, is
there a scenario like that where there's no communication and it's not a negative thing? Like where you walk away and you're like, yeah, we just kind of cranked it out.
I had one writer that I didn't enjoy our first interaction, and then so I was glad that I didn't hear from said writer again the entire time. But no, every project that I do, I feel like I'm really enjoying, and it's the best book I've ever done. And then when I finish, I look back and I'm like, maybe that wasn't as good as I thought it was while I was doing it. But I think that's a good thing because that keeps me excited about it the whole time. But so, that's just kind of how I operate.
Yeah, I think that all makes sense. I do feel like I don't see the whatever Johnny said, insurmountable, or maybe that was you, Ethan, that said that.
It was. How do you go about surmounting the inevitable divides? Is what the inevitable.
Yeah. I just don't. I don't know what. I don't have that. I don't have that. That's not my experience in almost everything. I mean, I have a slightly different. I end up working on a lot of things. I mean, it's interesting, especially at like the Big Two machine, because I think Ryan, in some ways, an artist like Ryan gets to sort of pick and choose what he does to a degree and who he does it with. And that is not the experience. Is that not your experience coming up, Ryan, too? Or like,
no, that was not my, no, I had never said no to anything until I started just before Venom. I said no to a few projects for the first time in my career.
Okay. So you were just taking what they threw at you.
I mean, I definitely was planting the seeds of stuff I wanted to work on.
Sure.
And they would oblige sometimes, but there were times, there was mostly everything that they offered. I was just like, okay. I mean, I pushed back on one or two, and then they would convince me to do them. And then I'd be like, why I let them convince me to do that?
Yeah, I feel like for me, like coming up, and I feel like a lot of writers coming up, you're just kind of thrown on a book, and then you.
Yeah, that's definitely part of the.
Yeah, and you just meet your creator, your collaborator on it, and your artist and your team, and with that, I think sometimes you just don't vibe, and that's fine for a short term. Like if you're doing what Donnie and Ryan did on Venom, that would be a true fucking nightmare to just be like, we don't really get along, but it's only going to be for 5 years. It is awful. But like there's a couple things where I was like, oh yeah, I don't really see eye to eye with that person. But for the most part, like almost everything I've ever written, I found that like the person who comes and adds the art and does, the person who does the art adds stuff. It's always additional and never subtractive to my ideas. And so I don't feel like there's some divide. I really feel like it's more collaborative than people think. I feel like there's a sense sometimes that there's a push and pull between art and writing that isn't there. My feeling is always I finish a script and I hand it off, and then it's the artist's book, and I'm just excited to see them make it. And when it comes back to be relettered and reworked and all that, I'm excited to be able to work on this artist's book, and it's their vision at that point. And that's how I approach things, and it's always done me well in terms of getting along with people, I think.
Yeah, even the huge writers, almost every single one that you work with, when you start, they're like, hey, if you have anything you want to change, just go for it, or let me know, and we can talk about it.
Yeah.
It's there's nobody out there that's like, just do it my way. Well, there is, but that's super rare.
Yeah.
They don't usually stick around very long.
I think I said this on the podcast before, but like I write very detailed scripts just because that's how I see them in my head. But when I start a project, I always tell the artist, like, look, this is just how I get it out of my head on the paper. And if you are having a lazy day and feel like using this, like, go for it. If you want to just go through and throw all this out and restructure every page the way you see it, every shot, like, go for it. But I do like full shot descriptions and, panel breakdowns on every panel, which is not always common, but that's how I see it. And I've never been offended when someone throws something out or doesn't do it. I'm always just like, oh yeah, they thought that was better. Also across the board, almost all the artists who are working at the levels that, of the Big Two have a better understanding of a page than I do, and a better understanding of not just how to lay out a page and how to navigate panels, but also what they're good at. Yeah. So they're going to lean into what they're good at better than I'm going to be able to set that up for them. So
for sure.
That was a good answer, Matthew Rosenberg.
Yeah, I liked it.
You're pretty good at this.
I went answer of the week. I'm going to send myself a nice little package.
Nice.
So just
sorry, Ryan. You were so close.
Eat a donut. That's what I would do is to reward myself.
I wish I had a donut. I don't have a donut. Maybe I'll get a donut.
I don't know about donuts, but we do have another question from Cody. It says,
segment.
hello to the Ashcan. Thank you, Ethan. Hello to the Ashcan crew and RYAN Stegman. I've got 2 questions for the chat. My first question is about the splash page at the start of Vanish #1. Ryan, did you map out the mists of Everkeep, or did Donnie just say go wild, make it huge, and you had some fun with it? That's the first.
So you talk about
He's talking about the double.
Yeah, you can show that. No, Donnie, I think we said something about the giant building in the center, and that there were dragons flying around, and that it was, misty. That's pretty much it. We had talked about it, and then I did what I do is I will create a like a vision board, or whatever you want to call it, where I just inspiration, and I put them all into on my computer screen, and then I just started drawing. Comic books, like I said, they're produced at breakneck speed, and I find that some of the stuff, sometimes it is more interesting if I just design it as I go, and that's 100% what I did there. So, I actually, at some point we'll probably release a script book or put the script in one of the issues so you can see how much he said. But a lot of this stuff, Donnie came to my office and we figured out what we were going to do, and it started building in my head at that moment. And then when it came time to draw it, it was ready to go.
And he was like, "What does that smell?"
Yeah. He played the long game. He put an egg somewhere in my office, and it's just
bitch.
He's good. Yeah. That's the real spirit clever. I noticed the dragons. I didn't notice this before. They're more of the Asian themed dragons, more serpentine and less
dinosaur.
What was the thought process on that, Ryan? You don't like drawing legs?
No clue why I did that.
Okay.
Just I wanted the whole thing to flow, and those kind of.
Oh, those are good flowing dragons. Yeah. I like it. They do have you can see them more swimming through the mist.
Yeah, like eels.
It makes sense. And so I was looking for you to say that, and you really kind of didn't, but it's fine. Was there another part to the question?
Yeah, Cody's got another one. Second question from Cody. What were the influences and vibes you were aiming for with the uniforms that the army of kid wizards wear? I dig the first issue, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the series. Thanks.
Again, more inspiration. I just started researching, like military, because to me, obviously we wanted, sort of like wizard cloak type stuff. But at the same time, I wanted it to be military gear, because that's one of the things about the themes of the book is how fucked up it is that these kids had to fight in an adult's war. So I started finding stuff, and just found some cool British naval uniforms that had a similar thing on them, and then we made them black and red just to really like make them severe looking, and that was pretty much it. Once I saw those those button things on one of those outfits, I knew that it would be cool on our character.
Yeah, it's great design. It's really like it makes sense for when you see it on the kids, and then when it becomes a little more like ominous and evil and fascistic, it sort of makes that transition naturally. It's really clever.
Well, thank you. Yeah, no, it was just one of those things where you kind of you're trying to find something, you're trying to find something interesting to you, and then you find it, and you're like, there it is, got it.
Have we talked about the sigil? Where did the sigil come from? Or you guys were just like a raven? It's pretty sweet.
I actually initially. So if you see the original, there's a version of the original page that has a different bird logo on it, and it sucked. And I did it, and then I drew it for a few pages, and I was like, this actually sucks. And then I said, John, could you make a cool, bird thing? And he's like, yeah, of course, that's my job. And then a few days later, he sent me 10 different versions, and we picked that one.
It's a very narrow definition of his job, but sure.
John goes much beyond lettering and
mostly it's bird logos.
Yeah, he does. He's great. He's so good at his job. It's crazy.
Yeah.
We do also have one more. One more came in over on the actual post in the Substack. Says it's from Jordan. Howdy, y'all. Can't wait to check out the stream. It's happening right now, Jordan. I hope you're watching. If not, it'll still be available to watch. My question for you all would be, what issue from any series you worked on do you feel the most proud of, and how hard was it to bring to life? Hope you have fun. Can't wait to see what y'all have in store. Cheers.
Wow. That's like one of those questions that's really good, but also kind of sucks because you have to think really hard. Like you don't want to just be like, oh, this issue ran. Like you really have to sort of go through everything, and that's.
Sorry, Jordan. You simultaneously won question of the week and lost.
And lost.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal. You have to send something to our sponsors, Third Eye Comics. Favorite issue, not favorite series, favorite issue
from anything you've worked on.
Ryan.
Oh, okay. I'll go with. I mean, I'm just gonna go with Vanish #1 because.
Are you saying that's just to sell books?
No, it's true. So, I grew up an Image kid.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
That was my ultimate goal, right? Like for the first 2 years of my comic book reading life, it was only Image. And then I started branching out, I guess I'll try out this Spider-Man bullshit, and I guess I'll try this X-Men. And then I, of course, became obsessed with the whole shebang, because I got a job and I could afford to buy comics. So this is what I've been working towards, forever, is I wanted to have this thing that I created, and I got to make it with Donnie, who's, one of my closest friends. And I think that it's, the best art that I've done. I think obviously by now issue 4 I probably drew that better than issue 1 because I'm still improving. But truly, it's kind of a, culmination of all this, my 15-year-old self, when I said, I'm going to do this for a living, this is the thing that I meant that I was going to do for a living,
Mm-hmm. That's a good answer. That's hard. That is hard to top. Wouldn't it be funny if I just picked something awful? I was just like, oh, did you read this? That's my favorite. I'm not going to say an awful book that I wrote, although I have written some awful ones, because once a kid came to my table and he was like, asked me about something, and I was like, oh, that's the worst thing I ever wrote. And he was like, that's the only thing of yours I ever read, and I loved it. And he looked so sad, and then he just walked away. And I was like, okay, don't do that anymore.
So sad.
Don't shit on your own books.
You think it's exciting, though, if it's the first thing he read and he loved it, and you think it's the worst one, it's only up from there.
That's a good point
for him.
Yeah.
That was not his take. His take was like, okay, don't need to do anything else. We have opposite tastes. Which, I think there's merit to that. He probably was not have a good time with everything else. Maybe he would. I don't know. My favorite thing I've ever written, man, I really love the final issue 5. There's only 5 issues, right? Of 4 Kids Walking to a Bank. I'm trying to remember, there's 5 issues or 6 now. There's 5. For a few reasons. One, because we worked really hard to get to that ending emotionally, and that is not an easy place to get to, where you're like, oh, this book that's been a comedy is now not a comedy, and it feels natural and it feels earned, that it's not funny, and that's hard. But also the fact of the matter was that when we pitched the book around, we had a publisher who we won't name, but who wanted to do the book, greenlit the book, and then was after the fact was you have to change the ending. You can't do that. And we were like, no, that's the whole point. Like, this is what we're trying to say. Like, this is where we're going. And they were like, yep, we get it. You can't do that. And we were like, oh, okay, then we're not going to do the book here. And they didn't believe us that we were taking the book back. And it was a very awkward conversation later where they were like, what's up with the book? And we're like, oh, it's at a different publisher. And they were very not happy with us. But I think seeing it come out and having people react to it the way we wanted them for the most part. And that means, people who were mad at us and people who were sad and people who thought it was good and whatever. Seeing that was really validating in a way of sort of everything that I've worked towards, and trusting in myself that even when people are like, you can't do this thing, it's not okay, or like, that's not going to work, to just be like, I really believe in this and I want to make it, and find out if there are other people who think like I do, and then putting it out and seeing that there are, is a really incredible feeling. It's sort of an earned, the sense that I belong, that I deserve to have the job that I do, is not something that I have a lot, but moments like that definitely clarify it and make you feel like, oh, okay, I'm a writer. I can do this for a living. And that's a nice feeling. And so that's probably the one I think about. And also Tyler just killed it on art, and it's a beautiful issue. And so, and also weirdly, that issue I mentioned this before, but that issue in the collected edition is different because we thought the ending didn't quite hit hard enough. So we added 2 pages to the trade. And that to me is always funny. So I think back on that and I'm like, yeah, we just fucking changed the end of our book, which maybe counteracts everything I just said about how important it is and how much I love it, because I immediately changed it. But that feels very on the nose for me too. So that was a good question. That wasn't as hard a question as I thought. Once Ryan gave a really earnest answer, I pulled it out of me. So good question.
I thought it was a good question. I thought they were great answers. And I think this has been a great live stream. And I think we've just about come to the end, but there's one more really exciting, super cool part, and that is Ethan is going to tell us who has won this week's Third Eye Comics, sponsor of the show.
That's right.
Little surprise goodie.
I don't care who wins.
Okay. Well, Ryan doesn't care who wins. We've confirmed. Matthew,
I feel like of course I care. I would just say that I'm actually impressed. All the questions were good.
They were pretty good.
I was sort of bracing for everyone to sort of send in clunkers. Not a statement against the people who read my newsletter or go to the live stream or Ryan's fans. You just think that there's going to be clunkers. I've been to enough Comic-Con panels to know that sometimes the audience is going to ask you shit that you don't want to hear asked. But this was great.
Why haven't you put Spider-Man and Mary Jane back together?
Why aren't they married? Fuck.
That's what you guys ask at every panel.
Yeah. All right. Well, first of all, let's say worst question of the week, the pizza one, because it just made everybody really mean, especially to me.
Yeah. It's a good question. You couldn't anticipate our bad reaction.
Out. Yeah. So I'm going to say that was worse. But okay, drum roll, best question of the week. Here we go. Ryan doesn't care, but we'll all do a drum roll. Ryan's doing it. You just can't tell. Question
Ryan's
of the week
something else
is
there.
From Johnny Perry, because it was a question that encapsulated everybody, and I really liked the answers. And also, it was purely random. I rolled a 20-sided die. So congratulations, Johnny Perry, for getting a very special prize from Third Eye Comics.
Yeah. We're gonna have to get your address, but
we will reach out.
We'll figure it out.
If you're not subscribed to the Substack, you should be subscribed to the Substack at ashcanpress.com. That's how we're going to find you and reach out to
JLCpress.com. You sign up there, Matthew. I just apparently my money's just like siphoning down to Matthew at this point.
It's called trickle-down economics.
But you can also sign up at klcpress.com to stay up to date on everything RYAN Stegman and Vanish related, and his upcoming project, The Schlub, which we will have new information about extremely soon, maybe even in the next 24 hours. Ryan, you're excited about it, I can tell.
No, not really.
Okay.
And you should sign up for both newsletters. And if you sign up at ashcanpress.com, we're going to send you Vanish issue 2
for free.
PDF for that right this week, as soon as it's approved, right, Ryan? That's cool.
Interesting. Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah, why not? We're doing it.
Just tell Third Eye to send it to whoever.
Oh, we're sending them physical copies to everyone who subscribes.
Every variant cover, all of it.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Also, I think a great note to end on. You guys are the best. Supple Boiz for life from Blaze.
definitely not for life, but yeah.
Sometimes people show up for us, and I want to take a moment for those people. Thanks,
guys.
And that brings us to the end of part 2 of our discussion with RYAN Stegman. Make sure to follow Ryan on Twitter at RYAN Stegman, and check out Vanish as well as everything else we're cooking up for you over at KLC Press at klcpress.com. To get the latest episodes of this podcast, as well as news, giveaways, and even comics delivered straight to your inbox, go to ashcanpress.com and sign up for the newsletter. We'll be back next week with another wonderful guest. And in the meantime, you can write to us at ideasdon'tbleedpod@gmail.com, or tweet to Matthew Rosenberg at Ashcan Press on Twitter, me at Tales to Astonish, or Griffin at Griff Sheridan. We'll include some of your correspondence on the show, and we'd love to hear what you have to say. And big thanks to Summer People for our theme song, Where's the Poison? Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Where is the poison?